Hello, hello, hello. Sorry I'm late. Gentlemen, ladies, if there are any, welcome. Hello, Jet Power. My brother was here. He's actually still here, but he's got downstairs now, so he's on his way out. And I said to him, I can't wait any longer. We need to do the stream. I promised everybody, So here we are. Everything's firing up still. Hello, Sean. Right, so I'm not sure if xEnviro will actually work with this version of Explain, so this is an experiment in that sense. We'll give it a shot. If it works, it works. Otherwise, we just go to Active Sky again. All right, let's hide all these fancy tools. All right. There you go. There you go. There you go. Usually I do most of this, as you know, before the time, but anyway, here we are.
Cap. Nice to see you again. Please remember to start your A cars.
Thank you, Linda. I'm going to quickly have a look, see that I get onto Discord if anybody wants to come and sit here.
I am ready for
Skymatix
electrical power.
live on air. Right, I think I'm live now. Let's go online. All right, let's share the screen there. Right. Okay, so now the dreaded changes, but we want to do those to leave the rendering distance, blah, blah, blah. And we can pull that down. Hello, Alex. Yeah, I saw you were there earlier. Right, let's see. If it bombs now, it's not the end of the world. Because I haven't really done anything, so it's fine. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm going to grab a protein bar or something here and snack on that while we do what we do. We'll do that. All right. Okay. Nothing bombed. We're still here. Good stuff. Let's get some life into this baby. Right, I need to start my ACAR so I know what I'm doing. Let's go. Let's do that. Do it this way. Right, so I'm not sure I'm going to fly online. If there's no one else joining me, I'm not going to fly online. We'll just keep it offline friendly. Let's do this. Google is complaining, guys. Google says that I might not have enough FPS for this stream. So please keep a lookout. It says that my stream is, according to the performance, I've still got 3 bars, but Google itself is complaining. So I don't know what that's about. Anyway. Let's quickly attend to this. Yeah. All right. But See, I've already done that part. A part of the planning. Runways and all seems okay. So we'll copy that in there. Takeoff 30. Landing 10 left. Yeah, I think that was RNAV. Thank you, Alex. All right, so I still don't know what my cruise altitude will be. We'll find that out now. Initial altitude 350, but let's start ACARS. Let's get to the actual OFB. I'm good. I'm a bit tired. It's been a very busy weekend. I did get some rest, must be honest, but could always do with a little bit more. Right, so it is 350. Where's this thing? 350. This is not 0. This is a bit higher. This is 2,850. There you go. That would help. Just a couple of minutes there. So at this time, I just want to quickly have a look. Yes, we did get some brief stuff, so now we can move on. Hello, Andrew. Well, guys, if I manage to nod off myself, somebody will have to come into Discord and start screaming at me. I see James is here. James, if you hear me snore, just start screaming. I'll wake up. Hope it doesn't happen, but you never know. Right, so that's the plan. That is our route. Yeah, it looks like xEnviro started nicely. Apart from the fact that we might have snow here. I don't know if we should have snow. Or maybe it's just white out in the authos. That's something I've noticed is the authos seems to be very white out. So yeah, we'll see when we go over them. Just looks a bit bleached. Hello, Roy. Ah. What's wrong with your new update, Roy? Which is the best way? Not the way.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
I've noticed some of it. It's because they worked on all the shadows and lighting and stuff, apparently. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. But they should fix it. I mean, that's the point of a beta. So they can figure out what they did too much or too little of. Yeah, I've seen that on Facebook as well. I've seen lots of complaints. The one thing that caught me a little bit was also the instability in the barrow. Oh my goodness, the barrow went up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down in the last flight. It was kind of annoying. Three 002 to 979. Low pressure, higher pressure. Right. Left, Zulu. One news. Then next, that's the one. Peace. That's the one. How's it, Dennis? Long time. Welcome. That's it. Shallow, steep turn there.
Ground to flight deck, fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
Ready for pre-flight procedure.
Hello, Marius. 296. Right, so that is done. Just waiting for the PAX boarding to finish and then we can go. Yeah, those big fingers, eh? Oh, that's easy enough. That's an easy question. Okay, so there's two reasons why this wouldn't come up, just that I think of quickly. Number one, if QRH is off, right? See there, if your QRH is off, then you won't get that. It relies on you to put it in. If you put the QRH on, it suggests them to you. That's the one thing. Then the other thing is in your N1 limit page, you see there's SEL temperature. All right, depending on your actual outside air temperature, okay, you've got a certain allowance of what you can put in. So if I go, for instance, and I put 14, see there, it's out of bounds. If this is out of bounds, you can't get your V speeds at all. You see there, takeoff speeds has been deleted. It just kills it. All right, so I've done it millions of times. So I've got like this mental arithmetic that I do, and I usually start at maybe about 32. All right. And then you wait there, you see now it's calculated your N1. So now you'll be able to go and get the V speeds, right? But if you go back, and again, if you just go out of bounds, it's usually from 31 up to like 65 that you can use, usual. But again, it depends on your outside air temperature. So if you just go slightly out of bounds, you see there, now it doesn't calculate it again because it's impossible. It's a scientific impossibility. All right, so then you just have to find the value that works. Now, this is the reason why you have something like the VPT tool that actually does your V-speed performance and takeoff calculations for you. All right, or you use TopCat or one of these other tools that's floating around here. So this is very important. The easiest way of doing it is, in fact, to just forget about the SEL temperature in the simulator and just select one of your presets, you know, like a template. There you go. You can select one of these ones. So depending on the runway length, depending on the outside air temperature and the weight of the aircraft, all right, you can play around with these ones and you'll see, you know, you can make the N1 less, even more less if you want to climb slower. See, the lower you go, the slower you will climb. The lower you go, the less thrust you will have during takeoff. So the more runway you need before you get to your rotation speed. But that one is very important. Either have it correct or skip it. And QRH needs to be on. You switch it off, you have to do it. Oh, there's a third thing. There's a third thing. I've just thought about it. Okay. I have actually had people do this. Just get that back on. There you go. See, these are the manual knobs. Now, if this thing is set on anything other than auto, all right, it relies on you to know what you do to put in your own calculated figures, and then you can go and set them. All right. So you have to make sure that these two are set in auto so that the FMC can actually do its thing. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem as well. So it's those three things. Yes, if you change the runway conditions, let's say it starts raining and you go to the next page, the moment you change your runway condition there to wet or the anti-skid, it's going to reject that as well. All right, just one of those things. That's how it works. Yeah, no worries. That's why I'm here. I was thinking about it this afternoon. I haven't really done any flight training and such. You know, I assume, I suppose is the correct word, that most of you have followed me long enough to have gone through the training. But if you guys have questions, if you are new here and stuff, feel free to ask. Remember, when I don't know, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you, listen, I don't know, I'll have to ask Sasso or one of the pilots. We've actually spoken to a new pilot who might actually join us as well, you know, that works with Sasso as well. So, you know, we've got options. We can always find out, or trying, like always, he goes and reads the documentation and then he explains it to us. You know, we've got people, and sometimes the pilots come online here on the stream and then they talk with you guys. So feel free to ask. Oh yes, jet power. Yeah, you're correct. I've never used it because you saw how I did my flight planning. I do it in the VA. It goes to SimBrief. It comes back. I get in the aircraft. I do my thing. So I never open the SimBrief website at all. So I never see those kind of things. But you're right. There is a performance tool there. I'm just not sure how accurate it is compared to the Zibomod. That I cannot tell you.
Ground to cockpit. Toes is driving up.
Right. Start our maybe here. Oh, you know what? I never clicked it. That's why she doesn't know. Sorry. Akbar. Akbar, I have two ways of doing it.
All doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Okay. What I would do is, number one, I would make sure that my N1 is as high as possible. Okay, depending on the length you're going to use. Again, your VPT tool, that calculation is important if you want to do it scientifically correct. But in essence, the shorter the runway is, the higher your N1 number needs to be. You can't waste time having less thrust, needing more runway to get off. Okay, so that's the first thing I usually do. I make sure I've got a lot of N1. Okay, the second thing I would then do is, instead of saying flaps 5, I've got two options. I will either...
Bypass pin inserted, release parking brake.
All right, well, before he releases us, okay, pushes us and brake is on. Okay, I would use flaps 15 or flaps 25. Okay, I've done it before in some of my streams where we go to very short runways, like let's say John Wayne, Orange County. It's very short, right? So you can use either flaps 15, again, depending on the amount of thrust you need to get that N1 high, and depending on the weight and your outside temperature and all these things, they will then give you some value of thrust and performance. Okay, so flaps 15 would help, flaps 25 would help, and then there's another secret tool. What we do is we actually switch off the engine bleeds. All right, so there's a configuration that we do. We call it a C configuration. So I can actually show you that. So you do it this way around. That's why it's C. You start over there. You switch certain things on, certain things off, which then means once you've got your engine, let me just put this on the APU. Once you've got the engine bleeds off like this, and you have, it's going to look something like this, right? Because those settings is auto. We don't worry about that. So what happens is, during the takeoff, because engine bleeds are off, it's got a lot more power in the engine, so you can take off from a shorter runway. And then what happens is your APU provides the air into the cabin at the back so that the people don't suffocate, you know. And then once you are already, you know, in the air, you can then reconfigure, you know, all your little switches. But it's in my training checklist as well, where I discuss this, where I can actually, you know, show you how to do that. We also do this short field takeoff, partly, you know, when we do the what do you call it, high altitude, you know, high density altitude stuff. There's ways of, you know, just configuring the aircraft going onto this additional, where's this thing? It's additional, where is it? High altitude. We use this pressurization system instead of the normal one. You know, so there's different ways of doing it. But in essence, the shorter the runway, the more power you need. You know, and once you've set up the FMC, you're going to have to get rid of your engine bleeds and then use your APU at the back to make sure that people don't suffocate. And then bypass this thing if you're hot and And there's a different system running then at the background. So that's about it. That's in a nutshell. Hope I didn't confuse you too much. All right, so that is done. Quickly. Okay, I was thinking about it in the last couple of days. I must actually update my training checklist a bit because some of the things have changed. Let's just quickly see. Where is this thing? Right, this is the training checklist that's in my hangar. You can go download it there. There's a lot of information here, but if you scroll down, just to show you guys. This also handles the air starter unit and things like this. Oh, there we go. All right, so after your start checklist, right? This is the first thing that you need to do. If you are in a situation where the runway is very short or you have a hot and high condition, okay, let's say above 10,000 foot, you have to keep your APU on. And then as you read through here, you'll see there are different configurations for cold and warm weathers and all kinds of things. So there's your de-icing procedure. Then let's quickly see. There we go. This is that C configuration I was telling you about. This actually tells you how your pressurization must be set when you're doing the above 10,000. But the above 10,000, this configuration is exactly the same for the short field configuration, no matter if you are at sea level. It's exactly the same thing. You have to make sure you do that. All right, so just in a nutshell. Andrew, good evening. Okay, am I done? Yes, I'm done. Linda, did you do your thing? Yes, Linda did her thing. Before start procedure.
Before start procedure.
Thank you. And parking brakes released.
Starting pushback, you may start your engines.
Before start procedure complete.
Hello, James.
Ready for before start checklist.
Start number 2 engine.
Starting number 2 engine. N2.
The fuel goes in. Ooh.
Starter cutout.
I forgot to start my cars. The actual flight in the cars, I mean. Start number 1 engine.
Starting number 1 engine.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
N2.
And fuel goes in. Right, MCB seems to be active. Right, good.
starter cutout. Engine start procedure complete.
I'm sitting here thinking we might as well do a flaps 15 takeoff. Why not? Let's play with it. We can. Right, so V speeds change.
Bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
And the trim will change.
Trim down.
Right, thank you, Linda. No problem, James. Yeah, you guys must ask. What I know, I can tell you immediately. What I don't know, we're going to find out and then tell you next time we speak. You see? Easy as that. Hello, Mac.
Good evening, Nico.
Okay, so by changing the flaps to 15, the trim changed, the V-speeds changed. And then what we're going to do is I'm not going to let Linda do this procedure. Otherwise, she's going to switch off the APU. So what we're going to do is we're going to go onto the bus. We're going to do the normal before taxi procedure thing. But we're going to keep the APU running. Right, so all we're going to do for now, let me just talk to you about that as well. If you have the APU bleed and engine 1 bleed on at the same time, you will get this warning. Okay, now in reality, if you give too much thrust, what will happen is the thrust will push back and it will blow your APU, all right, or damage it in a bad way, all right? So you don't want that. So we're just going to switch the APU bleed off and then we'll switch it on later when we get to the actual runway. But APU remains on. We're just not on the APU bus. And then we're going to do that C configuration and get the bleeds off on the engines, more pressure, air pressure in the engines, and then get a better, faster takeoff. Okay, as if we're on a short runway. All right. How was your day and your weekend, Mac?
Quite well. You can see I had a discussion in Discord about air conditioning and air start units.
Yeah, I noticed.
Taxi lights on.
Yeah, I see you were sharing some diagrams and stuff in there.
Yeah, there's a question mark over it at the moment, but we'll discuss that completely later.
No problem. But for the interim, I think both you and Antonio have got something going there. We must speak to Zibo about it a bit.
Yeah, we may have to, but I want to double check with real live pilots as well first.
Okay. Yeah.
That was very well presented, that information about your V-speeds, Nico.
Thank you, Mac. At that windsock. Yeah. It's almost steady horizontal. Jet power, I'll give it to you now. Give me a second. Before takeoff procedure. If you go into my private hangar, the link to the Google Drive is in my show notes below the video. Go into the Zibo folder and then look for the training checklist. All right. Like I say, it needs a bit of a revision, but it's good. There's a lot of valuable information in there. And we're going to look at it just now again. And then we can follow it along. All right. So it's called the Zibomod Checklist Training Checklist PDF. All right. So let's get it up again. Just want to move it to the other side for the presentation purposes. Okay. So what this thing tells us now is we need to just check that everything is set for takeoff. She's done her little bit. We haven't done the flaps, and we said we're going to do flaps 15. I think that's 15 over there. Okay. Then if we go back, we can actually see. Remember, we were on 150. Now we're at 145. Because we're using flaps 15, 145. Okay.
Ready for before taxi procedure.
You're welcome, Jet Power. Okay, so then let's look at the
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Sasso.
I'm saying hello. I think I said hello at least 6 times.
But you need to push to talk in this room now, that's why. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Right, so we're about to take off. So I'm just going to show them the short field
No
takeoff
engine
thing.
bleed?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'm getting there. So if we read the checklist from the top, we're going to start in the C formation. So we want to be on auto. We want to close this thing. It's going to have to go to the top, man. There, we close that one. That one remains on auto. This one goes off, that one on, this one off. So no engine bleeds. Right, and yes, Hassa, real pilot. You help me if I do it wrong. Hello, Dave. All right, so now what happens is the APU bleed is now running off the APU. It's pushing the air into the cabin so the people don't get air starvation and problems there. And all the air that goes to the engines, remains there for better performance.
Is there any reason to have the right pack set to high flow?
Did I do that? Yes, sorry. Yes, that's a mistake. It's supposed to be on auto. No, that's a mistake. So it's auto close, auto off, on, off.
That's it. That's the right C.
Yes.
And I don't know whenever you are with your checks, so if you are configuring for the part O, unless Linda does it, like start switches and so on.
The start switches I haven't done yet. I'm not asking her to do too much because she will interfere. All right, so there's your start switches. Yeah. Start switches is set. I think I've done everything now.
Yeah, what we do have in my company, we have a checklist, so it's nothing done by memory, and the pilots will configure for this checklist instead of doing the normal before taxi checklist. If you are completing a no engine bleed takeoff, you are gonna do the before taxi no engine bleed configuration, which will start from the generator. So you will put the engine generator on bus. APU will remain to on, exactly like we have at the moment. Start switches continuous, probe it on, and then you will go into the anti-ice if is required, but I guess it's not today.
Nope.
And then you will go into the pressurization, selecting exactly as it is. So starting from the right pack, you will do the reverse C, that's how we call it. Yeah. And after that, you go down, you do the flaps, you do the flight control check, and the recall, which is the normal taxi flow.
Yeah.
And of course, after departure, guys, there is a misconception on this. The aircraft is pressurized. The aircraft is pressurized by the APU bleed. The APU bleed can pressurize the aircraft if it's only for pressurization purposes up to 17,000 feet. So the APU is able to give you electricity up to 41,000 feet, which is the service ceiling of the 737. Only bleed, so only pressurization until 17,000. Pressurization plus electricity up until 10,000 feet. So anyway, once you get airborne, the priority will be to reconfigure the pressurization panel.
Yes, sir. All right, so you're ready. We can go.
When you want.
All right. TOGA. So I only did flaps 15, not flaps 25. Okay, it's obviously just a demonstration.
Okay. Yeah.
80 knots. Throttle hold. V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
This wing keeps on getting in underneath that wing on the left. That's why I'm kind of shaking a bit.
Acceleration altitude.
Anyway, there we go. We're on the autopilot, and then as the speed increases, we're going to just go through the normal flaps up situation.
Flaps 1 set.
Right, and then we can go and do the reverse. So now we're going to switch on engine bleed.
Yeah, what I would suggest, because we have single pilot operation as well. So just go over the MCP, and instead of letting the aircraft climbing in VNAV, which is a huge rate of climb, just go vertical speed, 1,000 feet a minute, so you will be protected in terms of time available. And now you concentrate on the pressurization for a second. Reconfigure the pressurization, then go back to VNAV.
Right, so engine bleed 2 on, APU goes off.
Yeah, we can see the split of the needle. They go back to normal value, as you can see there. And that's it, really. And then you just have a look at the pressurization panel, the cabin altitude. The small needle is indicating, basically it was behaving like an altimeter until a minute ago. Now the differential pressure will start rising, and that's what we want. That's it, really. So now you can make sure you have the generators on as you have, and then you can shut the APU, and then it will be the normal after takeoff checklist.
That's it.
And now the pressurization is fine, so you can go back on VNAV.
That's a neat trick. So you just buy yourself a little bit of time by going to V-speed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice.
Sometimes, guys, is we talk about this already. Level of automation. The highest level of automation is LNAV and VNAV, which means the flight director is taking the information from the FMC, both in lateral and in vertical profile, and then the flight director is sending the information to the autopilot, or actually it's the autopilot flying the flight director. But sometimes you need to go down a level of automation to maintain a medium level change, vertical speed, add in select, especially if something is happening and you need to regain your situational awareness.
Flight level 100, landing lights switches off.
You're welcome, Akbar. Sorry. Loss of English there for a second. Yeah, you're welcome. It's nice to see you again, Sasso. You've been busy.
Oh yeah, and I'm in the middle of my working week, to be honest. So I'm waiting some friends to come over. They should be here in 15 minutes, something like this. Yeah, but I saw that you were about to start a streaming, so I thought, yeah, let's go.
I appreciate it. I really do. Thanks, man.
It's a pleasure.
Nice to see you, Sasso.
Hey, Matt.
I have a question, or a question to ask you. We can't check it out now, but it's to do with air start units operation.
Yes, there will be. Sorry, I'm still have to remember the push to talk.
Yeah, but it's whether something's right or wrong, and I'll discuss it off.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Approaching transition. Transition altitude.
Right, so this is Map Enhancement again. Sasso, did you use it again or not? Not yet.
I haven't started the scene, to be honest.
Okay. Oh, this is a nice climb, and I'm happy.
Yeah, it's looking good. The stream's looking extremely smart.
In the beginning, we had issues with Google with one of their servers, probably because my system was telling me it's sending out well, but Google was complaining it's not getting enough information to keep a steady stream. Can you believe that? Anyway, that's gone. The notice is gone, so it's happy now.
I think there's been internet problems. I've had problems with Amazon servers today as well.
Wow, okay. Oh, you know what happened? I started the overlay before my X-Plane was fully loaded, and I closed it so quickly because it then blocks the X-Plane, and then obviously I never went back there. Let's fix that. Let's fix it. Copy. That should do it. Hello, Marius. Welcome. Yeah, it's nice, Rodrigo. I must be honest. I have not experienced a single photo missing like we sometimes had with Auto. These ones are just much more consistent. I'm not saying it doesn't do it. I'm just saying I haven't seen it, you know. So for me, it looks really much better.
Sasso, I think you would agree that that's pretty good colouring from looking down from the air, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. It's quite nice, to be honest. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Dave, there's a lot to be said now with the weather engine improvements in X-Plane. A lot of the negativity from the weather is now gone.
I see a lot of people complain about the clouds. People just don't like some of the cloud depictions. I'm back on xEnviro, so I can't see it, but I've noticed people on Facebook and so really complaining.
Yeah, there's also some complaints about something bleeding through in the clouds as far as lighting goes as well.
Dave, the China one, as far as I know, you need to use the Google Pro map for China. It's actually in the documentation. There was a whole story about China and getting the Chinese coverage. And as far as I know, it's the Google Pro map that you need for that. For the China one. That's understandable, Rodrigo, but I haven't flown there yet. I will get there, and I'll also see. I'm happy with what I've got right now. Auto is still in the background. I can always fire it up if I need a substitute quickly for any reason.
Thousand to level off.
Yeah, I got the notice for map enhancement, and it's interesting. I don't know if it's version related. It's probably version related. If you're on the second last version, which I was, it automatically comes up, gives you the notices, tells you it's time to update, and then you can update. You understand? It does everything automatically. You just need to read what it says and do what it asks you to do. There's nothing to it. It's so straightforward. It's click 1, 2, 3, done. So you guys must be on the latest or second latest version for it to work this way. It seems, you know, it's getting so easy. It's ridiculous. I'm using the payware version currently, Jet Power. I'll show you. Right, so it's on the hybrid map. In other words, it chooses the best map for the area for you, and then the fallback is just the Google one. There you can see it's loading the images as I fly. See? Really nice, easy. There you go, Rodrigo. Yeah, and that sounds better. That's nice.
Okay, gents, it's been a pleasure. I will see you in the next couple of days. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Sasso. You too.
Take care. Take
Ciao.
care, Sasso.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Rodrigo, not at the moment. The last time I spoke with Zibo personally, he said he's really, really very busy at work and he'll get back to programming the Zibo when he gets time, and obviously hasn't. So we just have to give him a chance to come back again. So there's nothing new. I'm flying the same version you guys have. Yeah, no, I get it, Rodrigo. Come on. Quick question. Any of you guys on stream currently that uses Mac, that understands how to install the Zibomod on Mac? If you guys are here, I've got a user struggling to get it going on Mac, but I don't know how it works. I've never had a Mac. Never even tried to work on one, so I have no idea. If there are anybody here, that would be cool. If you could quickly help a little bit. If there are anybody here, that would be cool. 167 for top of descent. Excellent. So we've got a little bit more time. I can tell you one thing, this looks much better than the default X-plane, eh? I really struggle to fly without auto. Going back to real X-plane, normal X-plane. Yeah. If memory serves me well, Rodrigo, it's the GHD folder that you need to copy from Zibomod into LU. And that should give you the images and stuff for the ground handling. Let's see. Yeah, it's the GSE folder. So under Zibomod objects, the GSE folder needs to go to level up objects GSE. Right, I'm gonna start setting up this side. So we need 102 degrees on the approach course. 2. Zero 2, and we need to descend 3,800. 3,800. And we have 2977. Right, though there is no ILS there. We're gonna do RNAV on this runway, and so we can put the VOR up. And that's it, nothing more we can set over here. Warrant B 3.0. Oh, you know what? We did discuss it, but I've never checked. It's never worked on this, okay. Okay. Then, minimums. Oh, yeah, it's jumped. Yeah, man. PT37. $800. Okay. Current temperature is 23. Right. Load. Nice, Dave. Nice. $177. Okay, hang on. That doesn't ring the correct bell. 29.6. Put it up at there. 2977. Yeah, it's correct. Okay. Doubted myself there for a second, but we got it. Right, so all that is done. Frequencies, minima, courses, PFDs done. And now we just wait for the descent to appear. 130 nautical miles. Yeah, rather you than me, Dave. Yeah, no, I get it. I bet you would. I used to buy a lot of different aircraft in the old days, and I used to fly almost everything available until I got involved with this Zibo project. And then at this point in time, I must be honest with you, I don't fly anything else. It's the only thing I'm still flying. So for me to invest any monies of any sorts into other aircraft is like just throwing money away. Eh?
I think we're also spoilt about how realistic the Zibo is, and
Exactly.
a lot of the other aircraft let themselves down.
Yep. I won't name names, but I mean, I've had arguments with other developers about the realism. And I mean, in all seriousness, if you can't even flare a little prop job aircraft properly or land it, and you bounce every bloody time you land it, okay? Can't tell me it's realistic. It just doesn't work that way. And you know, when they start saying, "Oh no, but your controls this, your controls that," kind of lose interest just right there. It's just nah. I actually want to go fly GA again. Oh, and you know what? One of the other problems was some of those GA aircraft, again, I won't mention names, but, you know, it might slip out at a different stream some other time, but some of them never supported zinc. So because I had the AMD card, I couldn't even fly them, even if I wanted to. It just doesn't work. Or didn't work. Now with me being back in NVidia, I must actually look at some GA aircraft. Maybe that FS Labs 170. I've got that one. I haven't flown that in years. Love to go fly a little bit now with this new map enhancement and stuff. That might actually be fun.
Ready
Yeah.
for descent procedure.
Alex, and it's that whole thing that just keeps me from flying other aircraft. But besides that, I mean, I've got a physical history now and a connection to this aircraft. You know, it's not that I don't like the other aircraft that much. Some of them I really like, but I've got no connection to them, so they don't happen.
Another thing that's happened in the last 2.5 years is now we're out of the COVID period, everybody's gone back to normal living. We haven't got so much time for flight simming.
Absolutely, Mark. If I look at the amount of work that I've had to do since the beginning of this year, it's actually amazing that I still get to fly. 2024, I hardly had any time to fly. It was just too much. It really knocked me hard. But 2025, I've got lots of work. In fact, I think I've got more work, but maybe I've learned how to handle it a little bit better, you know, do better scheduling and time management. Because all of a sudden I find myself every now and then I do a flight, you know, a little bit more than before.
Yeah, I think possibly now Zibo's sort of like lot of the things on in his life,
Mm.
and the updates aren't coming through quite so quickly. It gives us a breathing space to look at other things, perhaps.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure, Alex. I'm sure.
And possibly even more, Alex, because the update and support to the aircraft is so good.
Yeah. You know, if you ask that much money, maybe the guys would actually read the install guide. Hey, Mac?
Yeah. Well,
No, I doubt it, as long as you're still on here, Nico.
Yeah.
I mean, we must thank Nico for the amount of documentation that he's produced to help people who need extra knowledge to fly this aircraft.
Oh, Mac, and all the videos.
Yeah, no, you've got to take your place in what's been achieved for this aircraft.
I honestly, I mentioned it earlier in the stream. I just honestly need to update my training checklist a little bit. Because of
Approach top of
a couple of
descent.
things that have changed, you know, so just to get sequences right again, things like that. But I'll get there. I just need the time to do it now.
Yeah, it's like somebody else pointed out today, and it's true. When we set up all the flight routes in the Skymatix VA, that was before all this new Euro control business.
Yeah.
Some of the routes are incorrect.
Well, Mac, that's why we have a special room in Discord where people need to actually just go and put the flight number. I'll fix them in the background, but I need to know which ones they are.
The thing is, you can fly them as they are, but if you actually put them in Euro control to check them, you find that they're outdated. And people don't. They just take the routes as they are.
I don't mind, but I'm just saying.
Yes, I agree.
You know, if anybody finds a broken route, because look, when I do my streams, I check every route and I fix them if I have to. Every single one that I fly. When you see them on stream here, at that time, when I did my planning and did the stream, they were current with Euro control. So I changed them.
True.
Yeah.
There is a donation link for Zibo if anybody wants to drop in a small donation now and again.
Yeah, in my show notes below the video, you've got my links and you've got Zibo's, where I think I used the words the man himself, where you can send him directly money. You don't have to send it to me. You know, it's all there, and it's in Discord, in Zibo info room. Everything is there. Get our seatbelts on. We're descending. How are you doing, Thunder?
I'm good, Nico. Been busy. That's why I haven't been around.
I figured this much. Nice to have you back.
Yeah, well, I get here when I can. I just happened to notice I seen this flight coming up and Late getting in, but I'm here.
I'm not sure if you were here when we did the change, but the idea is to do the Sunday, it's my early evening, okay, this flight, this time, so that we can involve the North and South American part of the world, just to make it easier for you guys on that Western Hemisphere to actually join a live flight instead of just watching videos. So
Yeah,
that's
I
the
did see
idea.
it, Nico. Yeah, just try and find the time. That's my issue.
Yeah, Rodrigo, that is true. You can do that, but we don't have that validation in the VA. That's on SimBrief. So, yeah, the guys help themselves. But if they want to, they're more than willing to report the flight number in the VA database, and then we fix it. It's easy as that. Obviously, it's a dynamic thing. It's going to continuously change. But I mean, we spent probably a good portion of a year uploading all those files. I mean, there's almost 6,000, if not more than 6,000 flights in the VA.
And if you're a member of the VA, you automatically get 5 flights a month without
Yeah.
even asking.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's been running very smoothly of recent times, hasn't it, Nico?
Absolutely. Just shows you what a couple of changes in a buffer number can do, just to give it a little bit more resources.
Yep.
I installed the server the other day for somebody, a Linux server running OwnCloud. And one of the things that we have to do when we do that, and I've done a few, is we've got to give enough resources for the system to actually run. Now, this one site has got 55 clients backing up to that server. I tell you what, if you don't get that, settings, if you don't get them right, that thing crashes. Then you have to start over. And, I mean, it was so easy to spot, so evident that there just wasn't the right setting or the right resources allocation in the beginning, and well, since that's done, now it works. We're getting closer.
I must admit, I haven't had a reason to look into the admin side of the VA for quite some time.
Oh, maybe we've got new people who want to join us, and we're not even letting them in, Mac. You thought about that?
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
Let's go have a look. Yeah, we've got one pirate pending and one pilot that needs joining. Done. Yeah, Rodrigo, the chaps need to work sometime, eh? Listen, but if you really come to South Africa and if you do have a few minutes for a coffee, let me know, eh? Yeah, if he just tells me the aircraft have not been
Approaching
updated
transition.
to the correct weather level, and I know Zibo has not worked on the weather radar since that big mess we had 2-3 versions ago. So xEnviro, the weather radar does work, but it also needs a bit of work to be done still on it. But the default weather, I don't think that radar works. Because there's a mismatch
Transition
with
level.
all the different,
Ready for approach checklist.
what do you call it, data refs.
That is something that Zibo, or should we say Laminar, are working on, with getting the WRX working in
Yeah.
this aircraft, aren't they?
Yeah, Mac, remember Zibo worked ahead of everyone else because he's got access to the newest versions of X-Plane. And then Laminar changed the release of the weather. And then they
Yes.
said, oh no, but we never promised it's coming in 1.1 or 3 or whatever the hell they said. I can't remember. So that's where the mismatch happened. And my feeling is, I'm not saying this is what Zibo thinks, but if I were Zibo, this is my thinking. I'm not going to chase my tail. Let them finish and settle. Then I'll update again. Because
Exactly.
there's no point in doing one thing today and doing another thing tomorrow just to play catch up the whole time. So I can understand fully, while we are in this beta phase, let the beta go by and then I'll update. Then once X-Plane is settled and we know these are the fixed values to work with, it's easier to update. So I think that's also partially why Zibo isn't actively, programming the whole day, because there's no point. There's too many changes happening. Thank you, Rodrigo. Yeah, just pop it there in that special room there in Discord. It's in the VA room structure. You'll see it. Arrow has changed. 2974. Okay, so question for the guys staying on the side of the world in this area, possibly. Is this like semi-desert, full desert? What's the story here? What is the reason for existence? Why does Boise, Iowa exist? If it's so dry, I mean, it looks like we've got some patches of farmland here, and it's obviously against the rivers, you know, where there could be irrigation. You know, there's a little bit of water there. But, I mean, what's the story with this area? Who wants to give us a bit of a rundown? Anybody? Anybody?
Never been there, Nico, so I can't tell you.
Okay. Now, you see, we get more farmland over here. But, I mean, this area here is like bone dry, it seems, except for the river. Little bit of green grass there, higher up.
Flight level 100.
Interesting.
Landing lights switches on.
And thank you, Linda. Potato country. Okay, right. Lots of farm area. Okay. Desert and volcanic mountainous. Okay. Oh, it looks interesting. It looks like a whole dead patch, and then all of a sudden, you know, you see all the irrigation and stuff happening from the river here. You know. Yes, Tom. Yeah, we don't know the area. That's why I'm asking. Okay, Rodrigo, stay well, man. Thanks for spending some time with us. Nice to have you here. Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime, every time. Okay, skiing as well. Okay. That's some good info there. I'm so glad I could make this flight, eh? My brother arrived here late. We had a meeting, had some work to do together, and then I had to move this stream out by 30 minutes, and then we just made it. I'm so glad we did. Okay, I'll have to Google that. I'm not sure what that means, unless you say skinheads. But anyway. Ah. Yeah, I get it. You don't have to continue with that. That's fine, I get it. Alright though, we're getting closer, guys. We're getting there. Need to start braking a little bit. Yeah, Mother's Day. I tried to take my wife out for lunch as well, and the places we went to more than one. It's so full. The waiting period at the door is like between 45 minutes and an hour. So we said, you know what? We'll go out tomorrow evening. Just let's leave it for today.
Radio altimeter.
I'll get on. That appears to be the airport over there.
1000 to level off. Ready for landing checklist. Cabin crew, take your seats, prepare for landing.
Alright, okay, landing lights on. Gear down 3, green, flaps 30. You got the lights, cabin is secure, right, and then that's it. Oh, speed brake not on. My goodness, now it is. Speed brake armed, auto brake armed, fantastic. And we are using the Ian facility to turn it into a Cat 1 ILS simulated approach. And there we go. And we now have control over the throttle. Things are looking good.
Approaching 10 right.
A little bit off center. Where do we land exactly? Left, right? I think we said left, then left.
Approaching.
So we're right in the middle there.
5 and approaching decision height.
Yeah.
Clear
That is
to land
apparently
runway
also
10
something to
left.
do with this latest beta. They changed the locations and stuff of some of these runways apparently.
300. 200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
That's odd. I pulled the power back way too fast. We'll have the chiropractor help everybody when we get home.
Auto brake in
Yeah.
use.
Nothing a manual flying couldn't solve. Exactly. And then I pulled back on the throttle way too fast. Way too fast. And when I pulled back, there was no more lift. Just no more lift. Black is stupid. See, only human.
4,000.
Nice
I'm sorry.
landing.
Remaining.
Really not bad this time.
Well, thank you, Linda. At least you think so. I think we got a bill for a chiropractor at the end, I'm telling you.
3,000. Remaining.
Oh, you
Thank
didn't
you.
blow the tires. You're down, so it's still
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah. I think the shock absorbers did take a bit of the punch there. But Christopher wants to send me a bill. That's fine. Christopher, just put it in the snail mail, man. We'll pay when it gets here. Right, so let's start the APU. After landing procedure.
After landing procedure.
Yeah, now I need to. I owe Linda one as well. Yeah. There you go. Done.
After landing procedure complete.
I'm still glad we did this flight. I was looking forward to it, and I
I'm
did
glad I
enjoy
got it.
myself. Yeah, exactly. I'm really glad I did it.
Flaps up and set.
There's the line. The lights off. And brake set. There you go. Yeah, now I keep my streams unless something really drastic went wrong. I don't delete them, That's one of the reasons I keep on streaming
Ready
on
for
YouTube
shutdown
and not on
procedure.
Twitch anymore, because over there we had such good experiences, but they keep it for like 14 days and they delete it. You know, and that doesn't work. It sucks. So that's why it all defaulted to YouTube. Okay, that's done. Oh, landing is weak. Yeah, shame. Approach sighting, not too bad. Okay, that's done. That's done. That can go off.
That's interesting, Nico.
What?
That bridge is one of those, look, it's got the air conditioning unit pipe.
Oh, yeah. See what you mean. But it doesn't seem to be moving. It's not listening to any of the commands. It's a static thing anyway. Shutdown procedure.
Shutdown procedure.
Right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. If you're in this side of the world, in the Americas, north, south, that side, and you still have some weekend left. Mine is almost over now. So I hope you enjoy the couple of hours that's left. And thank you for joining me.
Very good informative stream, Nico. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was nice. I appreciate it. Bye-bye, everyone.
Very
Shutdown
nice.
procedure complete.
Thank you, Thunder.